Yeah, like I'll say something sincere and a comic will be like, well, okay, whatever, gay. And you're like,
oh my God.
No, I'm actually having a hard time. Like,
yeah, like actually, I'm sorry, I'm struggling and I'm talking about it. Whereas you're just like crying on stage with a dick joke.
Yeah.
Like, congrats. We're being sincere. This is the podcast where we're being sincere.
But
and with that being said, let's be sincere. Welcome to My Body, My Jokes. I'm comedian Morgan Gallo. I'm coming to you from Dude IDK Studios in the heart of Denver, Colorado. I absolutely love this studio. I'm very happy to be recording here. And this is the second episode, which is pretty exciting because this means that I'm now bringing on guests. And I have someone here that I am so excited to have because we've been like two ships in the night. We
For
like
real.
are at the same festival or the same something and we like don't see each other, but we're like internet friends.
yeah, because they don't book female comics on shows together.
Boom. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Jozalyn Sharp.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I'm so
like,
excited.
I was telling Anissa, my producer, that you were like one of the first people that I thought of when I started thinking about guests because of everything that you do online and what you talk about in your stand-up. I'm like, Jozalyn gets it.
Yeah.
Like, this is the person that I want to have. So I'm so glad it worked out. I didn't even know that you were in town. And then I
Thank
saw your
you.
show and I
Yay.
was like, yes.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're doing my show in October. I'm very excited.
Yes, that's going to be really fun.
It's gonna
That'll
be
be
really
really fun. So tell our audience like who you are, what you do,
Okay.
who is Jozalyn?
My 30 seconds for 30 for the ESPN fans is all your ESPN fan crossover.
All the Gen Xers listening to this podcast really want that.
I grew up in a really small town. I grew up in rural Nevada, and I grew up like really the smart kid, like typical comedian backstory. I was the dork. I was the nerd. I was fat. I was tall. I was all of the things I wasn't supposed to be. I was loud. My voice was deep. You know, I had a unibrow. Like I was pretty scary.
The cherry on top is the unibrow or the mustache. That was mine.
Oh,
the
I had mustache too.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah. And I had chin hairs, which was wild to look like an old wood witch when I was 12.
Yeah. You're like, I'm a spinster.
Yeah, already.
That's already my destiny.
And my mom dressed me in matching Hanes crew neck and sweatpants, so
Love
I literally
that.
looked like a spinster.
Oh my God. She's like, you're either doing jazzercise or nothing.
I think it was because they were back when I was a kid, they were $5. You would buy them in a roll at Walmart. The matching top and bottom Hanes sweat crew neck
Oh
and
my
sweatpants set.
God.
She'd be like, you need some new school clothes.
That's iconic, man.
Yeah, well, my mom was doing her best. And then, I was like a theater kid. And then comedy is like rife with trauma for me because when I realized that I wanted to do comedy, I was in a really bad relationship. I told that boyfriend I wanted to do comedy. He was like, I'll never forget the moment too. We were at BJ's Brew House.
Oh, not the BJ's. Oh, not the cookie skillets.
Yeah,
oh, no.
We were discussing our lives over our hot cookie skillets. No, he was eating his food, and I was finally getting up the nerve to tell him that I realized I had wanted to do comedy. And I said, I think I want to be a stand-up comedian. And he, without even looking up from his food, goes, "Why, you're not funny."
Wow.
And then I was like, oh, yeah. And I just like accepted that for years. Then I moved to Vegas, and my first group of friends was the local comedy scene. And then the rest of it is history. And all throughout then, I experienced literally every kind of body issue you can think of.
Yeah.
From feeling too in the spotlight to not enough in the spotlight to wanting attention to hating the attention. To, yeah.
So would your main job title be comedian if someone were to ask that?
I say that, but I always have a day job at least 9 months of the year. I had a day job for 3 years. I got laid off in March. I'm about to start another day job on Monday.
Oh, hell yeah. Congrats.
So I still have to work a day job to make ends meet, unfortunately, but hopefully someday comedy will work. I'm at 10K today. I hit 10K on Insta. I feel like that's a
awesome.
benchmark.
Oh my gosh, yes, it is. Getting that K on your profile is a unique level of high that you cannot match.
Well, and the thing that people don't understand, this isn't like a weird validation thing. This is a comedian thing. Like literally, there's clubs and venues who will not even look at our packet if there's no K. They won't even.
I've submitted to festivals that ask for your handles, but then they also ask like, where is your largest audience and how much is it? And it's like the multiple choice. It's like 1 to 10K, 10K to 50K or whatever. And
Right.
it's
So
like, why
people
does that
can't combine
matter?
their followers and say,
Yeah. I'm like, why does that matter?
because we're giving them free advertisement. That's really what it
that's
is.
true.
And they expect us to fill every room, you know. They don't want to pay for the comics that fill the rooms, but they also expect us to fill the rooms.
They're like, hey, why don't you have 60 friends in Fresno? You can't bring them out?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird,
I'm like,
honestly.
I've been doing comedy for 12 years. I also have no following. I've been on TV once and it was for weed. So
Ooh, but that's exciting.
yeah,
I
it was
like that
great.
credit.
I got free weed.
So something that I want to ask every person on this podcast is, what is your current relationship with your body?
My relationship with my body right now is healthier than it's ever been, actually.
Yay. Oh, that's so awesome to hear.
I've been on a fitness journey this year, which was really hard to unpack, being like a body positive person and having to be like, okay, am I allowed to want to lose weight? Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah.
And then I said, you know what? I don't really care. I'm going to do the things I want to do, because at the end of the day, body positivity is not about saying my body is great. It's always beautiful. Body positivity is more about whatever body it is you feel most comfortable in. It's personal. It's not like, you don't have to feel guilty because you don't like your body bigger, and you don't have to feel guilty because you don't like your body smaller. Like that's
I love that.
The hardest thing
that.
to unpack.
Yeah.
And when I realized that I just wanted to feel strong, and that's really what I was feeling, it wasn't necessarily like, I wanted to lose weight for health reasons, and my husband and I have had a infertility journey. So first thing they tell you to do is lose weight. And
which to me is the bane of every woman's existence, is going to the doctor and being like, hey, I have sciatica pain. And they're like, lose weight. And then you're like, my brain hurts. And they're like, lose weight.
Yeah.
And you're like, my foot fell off. And they're like, lose weight. Like that's the solution.
you could
for
literally come in
everything.
with a bullet wound and they could be like, have you thought about Weight Watchers?
That's exactly what that is exactly what it's like. You're just living in an echo chamber at the doctor's office.
Yeah. It's been really rough for me, truthfully, because I need a lot of surgery. I have an orthopedic issue in my right leg, and I couldn't get the surgeries because they kept telling me I was too big. And so finally I was like, I don't give a shit anymore. Like, I just set a big goal. I wanted to really, what happened is I had this experience with listening to a podcast, and somebody was talking about extreme accountability. And I was struck by how I would like to be that kind of person.
Yeah.
I admired it. And it's not saying that like everything that's wrong in my life is my fault, but how can I operate as if it is? So it takes all the power back to you, because if there is something in your life that's bothering you and it isn't your fault, you can't do anything about it. But if there's something in your life that's not making you happy or upsetting you, you can say, okay, if it's my fault, what actions do I need to take to change it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I start to think about all the things that I wished I could do more of. I wish I had stamina to like go places with my husband. He has to like walk slower to keep up with me, or he used to, you know? And like, I wanted to be able to like do outdoor activities without worrying if I was going to be able to make it through. Like, I wanted to have less pain. I wanted to give my body the best chance possible to conceive a baby. And I also just wanted to feel really jacked for the first time in my life.
Yes.
Like, I just wanted to feel like I got this insane hair in my ass. I started seeing all these strong women on the internet, and it just made me more and more avarice to just get in the gym. And my cousin's girlfriend and him are both fitness people, and she's a trainer, and I signed up with her, and it was my 22-week check-in this morning, and
oh wow,
it's been like a crazy I'm literally a different person.
That's awesome.
Than I was at the beginning of this year.
And your like motivation for this is more feeling strong and less like aesthetics.
I mean, it was originally to feel strong, but now that the aesthetics have kicked in.
Oh, you're like, actually, this is pretty fucking sweet. I don't know.
I mean, I think that's the complicated thing that people have to realize. Like, you can both love your body and also want it to look different.
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring that up, because I was talking out loud to myself today in my kitchen, and I get really upset about people who think that body positivity is about ignoring health. Like, there's a lot of, specifically men, unfortunately, not all men, but men on the internet tend to be the ones saying this shit. Is they're like, oh, this woman who's this beautiful woman that's on the front of Sports Illustrated. I think her name is Hunter Grady. Yeah. Amazing plus size model. Oh, she's promoting obesity. She's promoting unhealthy. And it's like, her health is between her and her doctor, or whoever she decides to share it with. So whether or not she is healthy is not your concern. The point is that she is comfortable in her skin, and that's sexy.
And also, those fucking guys, can I cuss?
Yeah.
Oh, also those fucking fuckers.
Those goddamn cocksuckers.
I'm like a toddler when you tell them they can say a bad word.
Yes.
They are also not in the girls who are too thin's comments and saying this
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
healthy. And
Yeah.
that's the thing I point out to people is that that's not health consciousness, that's fat phobia.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's so true what you say about like you're allowed to be body positive or even body neutral and still be like, I think I want to change this thing.
Yes.
And I think that's so valid because especially in the world we live in now where there's like the opportunity for a lot of people to get filler or to get a procedure done or whatever it is. Yeah. It's like you can do that and still feel good as long as you are doing it for yourself and for the right reasons.
The only ethical way to practice plastic surgery, in my opinion, is to be completely open about it. You cannot pretend that you didn't have plastic surgery.
Oh yeah, I get really upset about that.
I don't like that. I think that's really fucked up. And you have to really want it for yourself because people are going to have a lot of opinions about it, number one. And number two, at the end of the day, you don't have to do anything to yourself. Like, as much as I want a little filler here and a little this here and a little that there, I'm a child of The Sims. I could keep clicking and dragging.
Oh, yeah, like, dude. You give me a blank canvas, I'll turn into Bob Ross. It's dangerous. Have you ever gotten anything done or anything of that sort?
No, I want to get some stuff done. I mean, I'll probably want to get skin removal surgery at the end of my journey because my goal is to lose 100 pounds. That's my, like, I set like a big goal for this year. I was like, I want to do something huge, like, and so I told my coach, I'm like, let's just see if I can lose 100 pounds in a year, and she was like, all right, bet.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I'm halfway there, so
good for you. That's awesome. Very cool.
I'm very excited about it, but there are things that change, I like it. I'm smaller, but my body looks different, I have a joke right now that like I used to have big, beautiful, bouncy breasts, and now I have like 2 old diner waitresses in my bra. Like, they don't look like boobs anymore.
Like 2 fried eggs on a nail.
No, not even. The yolk is behind. it's facing the wall at this
my God.
So I will want a boob job at some point, And I think all of those things are valid and okay. And it's weird that we live in this society where women are expected to exalt ourselves for our looks, but we're not allowed to take joy in it. It's very strange.
Yeah, I know. It's very weird. Like, it's a very, everything is a double-edged sword when it comes to being a woman, which is just really frustrating in and of itself. I got lip injections one time, like maybe 2-3 years ago, and I did like the minimal amount. I think I did like half a syringe or whatever they told me was the minimal amount, and I kind of liked them. But then I woke up one day and my lips were like touching my nose. They were so big. And I had an angioedema reaction, which I guess it's like in extreme swelling. And so I just never got them again. Because after that, I was like, I can't keep doing this.
Well, and that's why you have to really want it, because there can be adverse effects. Like even a boob job, you can die. You can die during a boob job. And the only reason I'm comfortable with being like, I'm going to want a boob job is I've literally wanted one so long because of the yo-yo dieting my whole life. Yeah. My breasts I don't even know what it's like to have nipples that point forward. I've never had that in my life.
Yeah.
Because I got boobs in the 5th grade and then immediately lost a ton of weight, then gained it and then lost it and gained it. And unfortunately, it's just something I can't unpack. Like, as much as I've tried to unpack it, I'm like, I guess, and maybe that's because I'm bi and so I like boobs, so it's harder for me.
Well, it's also kind of, in a way, like a symbol of our femininity. Yeah. And so there's it almost feels like you want to feel good about them because you're supposed to.
Yes.
It's a weird relationship. I have stretch marks all over my boobs because of the same thing, from going from binging to restricting for 15 years. Yep. Like my body is like, okay, what's going on?
We don't know what to do.
Like we can't keep shape shifting.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's very interesting to have to think about like body augmentation and remaining body positive and all of that. And there's nuance to it. And I think that's what's cool about this podcast specifically is I want to create a space where we can talk about the nuance and like be okay with it. Yeah. Because some people might say like, oh, trying to lose weight isn't body positive. But it's like, well, you don't know that person. You have no idea what they're going through. So you can't definitively say that. Well, and I also think the
most body positive thing you can do is have self-discipline. But people aren't going to like
that. Yeah, no, exactly. And being able to say like, I'm going to take care of myself no matter what.
No matter how I feel.
Yep.
Because I had this thing a long time ago and I make all my friends do it, where you have to treat yourself the way you would treat your best friend.
Yep.
So if you step out of body and you look at the way you're treating yourself or thinking about yourself, and it's not the way you would treat your best friend, then you are automatically wrong.
Right.
And something needs to be corrected. Like, you just have to be okay with loving yourself fully and totally. Flawed, not flawed, wanting something, not wanting something, being okay with it, not being okay with it, you know?
Yeah.
It's still a struggle for me. As much as I love my body every day, even before I started this journey, and as much as I love the changes I see, I look at the loose skin on my arm, or I look at the loose skin on my armpit, and I think about how, you know, I'm trying to cover it up, and I'm like trying to move my sports bra in the gym when I'm like deadlifting 160 pounds, and like that's the thing I should be focusing on.
It's like the people that are looking at you are looking at the weight you're lifting, not your arm. Yeah.
But you know, it's a long journey that I don't think we're ever going to be able to not be pervasive in our day-to-day life, because in order for that to happen, we would have to completely devalue looks as a society as a whole. And
which isn't going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's not, I guarantee it's
no,
not
and
gonna
I'm a
happen.
human, you know, sometimes I see someone so hot, I'm like, well,
what's the point of me being here? I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm taking off these eyelashes. I'm leaving. So what has been your experience? Like, I'm sure your comedy journey has been interesting because over 12 years, I mean, social media has completely taken over comedy. What has been your experience talking about these types of things in your comedy and being a woman on the internet?
Well, the thing about being a woman on the internet is that it's hell. And you just have to
and literally I couldn't even say something smarter than that, because that's exactly what it is.
Because I'm in a lose-lose situation, right? Like right now I have a clip that has like 800,000 views. So it's got quite a lot of comments going right now. And the men are all commenting about how it's a joke about how my husband and I have different porn tastes. And the men are all commenting about how, of course, he has to watch porn. You're disgusting. If I was married to you,
Jesus Christ,
I would watch porn. And my favorite thing is I was like, because you're at a lose-lose. If I comment, I'm giving the attention they want.
Yes. Yep.
But if I don't comment, then I can't be sure to let them know that I think they're a fucking ugly walrus and they don't deserve to say anything about me.
Well, and it's also like, they need to know that saying those things isn't okay.
Yes.
But you commenting back doesn't let them know that. They just think they won because they got to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'll do it every once in a while before I block someone. I'll comment something back and I'll go back and forth with them a few times, and then I'll block them before they can respond again. But that's all it is. It's a lose-lose situation for us.
Yeah.
You know, it's really wonderful. There's a lot of great people that pop up that are really supportive.
Right.
It's unfortunate because I don't relate. I've never in my life scrolled across something and been like, I can't wait to be like, this stupid ugly bitch should die. Like what?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Something I tell myself a lot when I get hate comments is I remind myself that people that leave hate comments are not the type of people that I would want to hang out with in real life.
That's a good one.
And the people I hang out with in real life, when I ask them, have you ever left a hate comment? 99% of them say no. And if it is a hate comment, they're like, yeah, I was commenting on Kim Kardashian and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
I think the only people leaving hate comments are Midwestern dads.
Oh yeah.
I think it's like all fat guys with double chins that are like, this disgusting woman.
I know. I've never gotten a hate comment from a woman unless it was like, they didn't like the context of the joke. Yeah, I get. You know what I mean?
Get hate from like the porn joke. There's women on there being like, porn is evil for women, and I'm like, this is a comedy show.
Yeah, it's like, get the fucking stick out of your ass, Lauren. Like, let's calm down. Like, yeah, it's a very.
It's not gonna be an easy road. You have to expect that like you're gonna get more negative feedback than positive. But I have found that if you get past a certain level of views, you get through the trolls, and then your people start coming in and defending you to the trolls, and that's my favorite part.
I wish that was my experience.
Oh, it's been like that for me recently.
What's like the threshold? Like, is it like 10,000 views?
It's usually around the 500,000 view mark that I start seeing the people defending.
That's a lot. Yeah. I've only really had that happen a few times, and it was, definitely stuff that goes more viral because for some reason, I want to know what your following is like, because I have a 92% male following on everything. So all of my videos, whether they're about women, men, whatever, they get caught in the incel like algorithm. Like that's where they get pushed to. And it seems like some of my followers like hate follow me. So they're not coming to my defense, but they're also like sometimes engaging in really weird.
Let's asterisk that hate follow with antisocial personality disorder and want to have sex with you. That's
oh wow, that's a lot to unpack.
That's really what
That's
it is.
a lot to unpack.
It's really someone who doesn't understand how to. Because why else would you hate follow someone?
Yeah, it's really cringy.
You follow things you want to fuck or eat. Like that's it, or pet. Like that's it. That's the only reason you follow things.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone I follow that's not under those categories, honestly.
I mean, even if you're straight, you might be like, well, I follow Kim Kardashian and I'm a straight woman.
Yeah, but what are you really doing?
Yeah.
What are you
why
really
are you following
doing?
her? Like, you know what she's
Why
up
are
to.
you zooming in on her ass cheeks? What are you doing? What are you doing? Have you ever had a situation where you've gotten so many hate comments or such specific hate comments that it really affects your self-esteem?
No, because America's so fat phobic, they can't see past my size. So
and for you, that's kind. Do you feel kind of bulletproof with that topic specifically?
Yeah. Also, like my first hour album was all fat jokes that are 10 times better than any of the ones that these trolls can write.
I love that.
You know, so it's like I don't. And I still tell fat jokes, and I know I'm funnier roasting myself. Here's the thing about being body positive. I think you also have to be realistic. I'm not going to look in the mirror at my body and say, oh, well, I'm thin, and no one's going to say I'm fat if I'm on the internet.
Right. No, of course.
I know that's what people are going to say.
Yeah.
And I have to be aware of the fact that I literally never look at someone and go, oh, fatty. Oh, look at that fatty fat.
Yeah.
So like you said, you have to think about the kind of person that's doing that. And 100% of the time, it's like I'm either getting hate on for not being funny from teenagers, or I'm getting hate on for being fat and disgusting from old men.
Yep.
You know, and the old men are just being like, oh, let's challenge a female comedian and not talk about sex. They can't.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't really understand why there's so much passion behind men wanting female comedians to not talk about sex when it's like, that's all you talk about, though.
The period goes way sooner in the sentence. They don't want us to talk.
Exactly. look at this. Do you want to produce this podcast? Because I think you and Anissa keep me in check.
They don't.
Oh my
God.
God.
They don't want to talk. They don't want. That's really what it is. But they don't want to unpack that. They don't even respect us enough that even a cursory opinion is not even considerable to them. You know, like, because that's what it is. Is I'm presenting my opinion to an audience. I'm like, this is my opinion about Cheetos. If I have a joke about Cheetos, and do you find that relatable? And imagine like you're a man who doesn't respect me. You're like, why are you talking about Cheetos?
Yeah,
like,
and they're like, I can't believe you can't come up with anything better than this.
I don't even like looking at your stupid nipples. Get out of my face. Like, they're so overwhelmed by the fact that they don't want to fuck you, they don't respect you, or they do want to fuck you and they don't respect you.
Yeah,
and you're doing anything but be fuckable. Like that's really what it is.
Yeah,
and if you're a man and you're like, that's not what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah. Sorry, you guys like to tell us what we're feeling. We're telling you what you're feeling on this fucking podcast. Yeah. Well, so something I do on my social media is I have this series called What's in My DMs.
Okay.
And it's been a wild journey because I get a lot of really insane DMs. And so I want to start doing a segment on this podcast where when I bring a guest on, we go, what's in your DMs? So Jozalyn, what's in your DMs?
There's some, I saved some specifically. My comments tend to be the crazy, which is crazier. So,
oh yeah. Okay. Then we'll do a little bit of both.
Let me see real quick. I'm sorry. I prepared some of them, but I want to find this one guy. I have screenshots of him. He was insane. He was literally in all the comments on all my videos saying that he would commit evil acts for me.
I mean, hey, and that a fan is a fan.
And that he worshipped me and that he wanted me to do this, that, and the other. Oh, here we go. So shall I read it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this is a comment, by the way. And you can see all of the notifications are the same guy.
Oh,
so this
Jesus.
is a screenshot where all the notifications, and it's all within the same few minutes because it all says 9 hours ago.
Damn.
So first comment says, I've never said this to anybody ever. Okay. And I'm not even the type. I worship you. I'm serious. Like a knight worships his queen. Like a warrior worships his empress. I would do anything for you. I would do everything for you. If you asked me to do something that was evil, I would do it in a minute. Anything for you. And if these messages are annoying, I'll stop. You can even block me if you want. I just had to let it out. And I've never been inspired like this and hypnotized like this. You can ask me to do something evil and I would do it in a second. And the second comment says,
That was the first comment?
that's one comment.
Oh my God.
The second comment says, you are the ultimate woman. You are a tornado and tsunami of woman. You are a magnificent, glorious, breathtaking, inspiring, mesmerizing, hypnotic. You are the supreme siren. You are the dream.
This guy's got a set of lungs on him.
He's going for it. One more. You're the ultimate woman. Number one. Had magnificent, breathtaking, mesmerizing, soul-stealing siren. You are the dream. And that was just one of many that he commented.
So this is a guy that is like a regular creepo.
Yeah, and his bio says comedian. And he lives in New York, so I'll never be going to New York.
Oh my God, dude.
I mean, unless I need somebody to commit an evil act.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe you need someone
keep them in my pocket.
Yeah,
my little
yeah.
pocky.
Wow, that is crazy.
Isn't that insane?
I love the passion behind the guys when they like comment on female comedian stuff, and they want to make it very known that they think that you are the only like woman in the world, like almost to prove to you that they have eyes for no one else and you should pay attention to them.
Yep.
And it's that weird, like they do that weird, like they repeat the same thing.
Yes, it's mental illness.
Yeah, number one dream. Like, and there's like no punctuation. There's absolutely no sense to the entire thing.
Yeah, and it's always like an old guy with 4 teeth.
Yeah,
And it's just too much.
or like Gary from Indiana. He has 2 daughters. You're like, this is not okay.
This is not gonna happen. I mean, and most of my DMs I don't answer, so I don't get much. It's
Yeah.
just like beautiful, hello, dank, I am interested. And then men mansplaining my workouts to me because I post my workouts in my story.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I get a.
Do you have one of those?
Yeah,
Are any of those funny?
Yeah, they're not. None of them are really funny, except for I went back and forth with this one guy. I eventually made a TikTok about it where I literally was like, I'm gonna tell this guy off on TikTok, and I did.
Hell yeah.
But then I made it friends only because it was just, I'm like, why am I giving him any attention? But basically, what it was is he was like telling me my form was wrong on something.
Okay.
And I was like, I literally post in every video, like, my coach, I have a coach, my coach, my coach.
Yeah.
And the thing that I don't get is since I started this fitness journey, like professional female Las Vegas athletes started following me.
Oh wow, that's cool.
0 times have they given me unsolicited advice.
Yeah, because they know that you are a capable adult of being able to ask questions and learn how to fucking do something.
Yeah. And also,
Wild.
I would only take advice from somebody I want to be like or look like.
Oh my God. That is, oh my God. I can't even describe to you how happy it makes me to hear you say that, because so often people will like ask me, or I'll hear like open mic comedians being like, what should I do? How do I get anywhere? And the best piece of advice I ever got was actually about getting advice. And it was, don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from.
Yes.
And only take advice from people whose like careers or lives you want to aspire to be.
100%.
It's so true.
Well, and it's the same thing with hate comments. Like if you struggle with them, just take a peruse over to that person's profile for just a second, and you will immediately not feel bad.
Yeah, I don't read my comment sections anymore because I got to the point like probably 2 months ago where I just was like, I'm like really letting this affect my mental health. And it's tough because people think that comedians are bulletproof. They think that we're not also human beings.
We literally feel everything.
Yeah. There was a time when I would reply to comments where men would tell me to get on the treadmill or to like tuck in my fupa, whatever. And I'd respond and be like, why do you feel the need to comment this? And they'd be like, wow, I'm joking. You can't take a joke. And I'm like,
That's not a joke.
number one, it's not a joke. And number two, like, why would you think that because I'm a comedian, I'm going to interpret every insult as a joke and think, haha, that was funny.
Yeah, but that is a certain subsect of American men.
Yeah.
Because they do not respect, like, we're
Yep.
just toys and objects. And it's like I did Loonies one time, and this guy comes up to me with his kids, and he's got 2 older daughters. And he goes, yeah, my daughter's fat like you, and points to her. And I'm
Oh
like,
my God, what did she do?
She just stared off, and I just said, I sure hope she's okay with you describing her like that.
Wow.
And he just stared at me.
That's
like-
such a weird thing to say
I
off the
had a
bat.
female audience member in Denver show me how much she eats Taco Bell in an attempt to connect with me.
Oh, yeah. That makes that for some reason that makes sense because women can be awkward. I'm awkward.
Women are awkward, but I think it's really weird when I didn't do any fat jokes or jokes about Taco Bell that night for you to come up.
Oh,
to
okay,
me
then
after
that's
a show
weird. Okay, I
and be
thought
like,
okay.
No, she was very much being like, "Oh, you eat a lot? I eat a lot."
Oh,
I know I
what
don't
the
look
fuck?
like I eat a lot.
Oh
but
my
I do.
God.
It's very blatant. People don't think.
Yeah. One time I had a female audience member come up to me after a show and I was wearing these like kind of baggy parachute material Nike pants with like a crop top and like a bodysuit underneath. So, but it was all black. And I thought it was like a cool outfit. I was wearing like Air Forces, whatever. And this girl came up to me. She was super drunk. She's like, "You are so funny. Oh my God, I love all your jokes about your boobs, blah, blah, blah." And then she leans in. She goes, "You're so hot." And I was like, "Thanks." And she goes, "But this is not a hot girl outfit." And I was with my friends that had come to the show who like went to high school with me and they haven't seen me in 10 years. And they're watching me interact with this drunk girl who's telling me, she's like, "You're so much hotter than this. Like, this is like not even flattering." And she's drunk as fuck.
What if that made you feel hot?
And it did make me feel hot. And the craziest thing about this woman, Jozalyn, was that she was wearing skinny jeans, knee-high boots, hoop earrings, and a camisole. That was her outfit.
All right.
And she's over here telling me with my Nike pants and my Air Forces and my crop top that I'm
2001 called.
Yeah,
They
I'm
want their
like,
outfit
I'm
back.
like, bitch, shut up. But yeah, it's a very weird thing to have people try to connect to you.
This is all related though, because all of this body shit is because we are so concerned with other people's opinions of us. And other people are, that woman is so concerned with how people see her that she dresses the way she thinks she should dress. When you were like vibing, living your life, having your own style, I have been through many phases of style. I love dressing, but I like hyperfixate on outfits. So I wear like the same 6 outfits over and over again.
Yeah.
But you know, I've been like more goth, less goth, but I always kind of have something crazy on a little bit in some people's heads, you know, because in people's heads,
which to you is just style.
I'm just wearing an outfit.
Just
like
having
me wearing
style.
a crop top and jeans on stage is like,
oh my God, but how would you show, why would you show your body like that?
yes, literally.
Why would you do that?
A club owner was like, if you, one time he goes, "I think the audience would connect with you more if you didn't dress so sexy." And I literally had a fire set. So I was like,
And this is a male booker that said this to you.
and I said, "I think the only person who has a problem with finding me sexy is you." And he was like, "Oh, I'm just drunk. I'm just, don't listen to me."
Oh my God. I'm so happy you said that. I wish I was that quick. I'm not that
I'm not
quick with
sometimes.
it.
Sometimes I freeze. Sometimes
Wow.
I'm just like, yeah.
That's so interesting. When I started doing comedy, I started comedy in Florida of all places. So it was a very tough situation. But there were several older, like kind of vet comics that
A lot of fedoras.
yeah, a lot of fedoras, a lot of like scrappy beards, a lot of very short guys, and they would tell me like something along the lines of like, you know, be careful of how you dress on stage because that is the first thing the audience sees. And when I started comedy, like I was really into like high heel boots and like flare jeans. I don't know why. And like a cute little peasant blouse or something. Like I just was really like dressing that way at the time. And that's what I felt comfortable on stage on. And I remember there was a guy that like said to me, you know, when you do that, when you go on stage so sexy, you're making the women feel uncomfortable because they're probably on a date with their husband or their boyfriend and they don't want them to look at you. And then you're making the guy uncomfortable because he wants to stare at you, but he doesn't want his lady to get mad.
Oh yeah, because my existence is to make other women
yeah, and I was
comfortable.
like, well, what if when I got on stage, they just thought I was funny?
What if that?
What if they just listened to my voice?
What if they stopped worrying about whether or not they wanted to sexualize me and they just came for what they came for, which was a fucking comedy show?
Yeah.
And this is all with love and respect, but there is nothing sexy about flare jeans and a peasant blouse. So
Exactly.
that was a wild.
Well, yeah,
that
and
was
like,
wild to be like,
and like,
whoa, harlot.
yeah. Oh shit, girl. Those American Eagle fucking
Put a sweater
flare
on.
jeans. Oh, and it was not. It was a very interesting style period for Morgan.
I mean, I do not get me wrong. I've dressed slutty on stage, like mini skirts, fishnets. If I'm feeling the outfit, I'm wearing it.
But that's the thing. It's like, like Nikki Glazer is one of the best comedians, let alone female comedians of our time right now. She's been killing it for over a decade, and she wears beautiful outfits on stage, and people give her so much shit. And it's like, but she is the funniest one of the funniest people in the industry right now.
Yeah.
So who gives a fuck what she dresses like?
We cannot win.
Yeah.
If you want to fuck us, then how dare you make me want to fuck you? How dare you make me think my husband wants to fuck you?
Yeah.
And then if you don't want to fuck me, then it's how dare you not be fuckable? Like there's no way to win. Like
it's wild.
The only way to win is to love yourself fiercely and unapologetically and just let people be triggered by it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, and that's why I'm starting this podcast. Is I'm like, it's time for me to just talk about what I want to talk about and stop pretending like I'm just a one-dimensional comedian that can only do one thing, because I can do many things.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't mind. I mean, there's videos of me crying after I found my bio dad on my TikTok. Like I post everything. Like,
and that's awesome.
It's just how I've always been. It's been my diary. I mean, I was also an internet kid, so the internet's been my like personal diary since I was in elementary school. But I don't know. I don't think that we have to live in this world where comedians are all this one type of person,
right?
Like, as much as it's great what like the Joe Rogan crew has done for stand up and created it to be this like huge industry or whatever, they've also made it so that a lot of comics or a lot of comedy fans think that's what comedy is and think that's what comics are like.
Yeah.
But we're all individual different people with different backgrounds.
You ever like try to talk to someone about comedy, or someone finds out you're a comedian and they go, "Oh my God, I love Kill Tony." and you're like, I would have had a pleasant conversation with you and you could have never brought that up. Yeah.
Generally no, unless, because when they get to the cut, I just turn around and walk away.
Yeah. As soon as they're like, "Have you ever been to Austin?" I'm like, "No, bye.
Goodbye.
I'm fucking out of here, dude."
I try to be, just like dismissive and polite the way I am when my grandma asked me about if I know about musicians that she saw on the Tonight Show that she's somehow still watching.
Yeah.
She's like, "Have you heard of Ariana Grande?" I'm like, Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. But that brings me to my next question for you, because your recent special, and forgive me, is it your most recent special?
Yeah, it's my most recent one. I filmed it at the Fort.
Right. Okay.
And it's my height and weight.
Yeah. So it's called 5'10", 280. And I fucking love that so much, because it's just so like, here it is. What are you going to do?
Yeah. You're going to call me fat?
Yeah.
Okay,
like
good.
it's so unapologetic. And at the beginning of your special, there's kind of like an interview moment.
Yeah.
Like you're walking around Fort Collins, you're in the comedy club. And I believe the interviewer asked you something about like, what's your material about, or what do you cover? And you said, nothing is sacred.
Yeah, I have it tattooed on my arm.
And yes, and I was like, wow, that is really profound, because so many comedians really just stick to one thing and they don't kind of get away from it. But you're like, your special was great. It was like all over the place and hilarious.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, I am not a methodical writer, so I just have to take the jokes the universe gives me and kind of run with it. But like, I mean, last night I tried a joke that I've been trying to work out about my experience with domestic violence, like, and people got sensitive, and I am not a comic to get sensitive with, because here's the thing for me. Yes, domestic violence isn't a joke. But as someone who experienced it, it's part of the way that I deal with what happened to me. Yep. And as someone who went through those things, you do not get to tell me it's not funny. That, like, I have this whole side bit I had to write for the joke about meeting my bio dad, because the whole joke's about trying to be friends with someone who wanted to abort you. And, like... it's awkward.
But it's like a funny, like when you say that concept. It's funny.
Yeah. Yes. It's empirically funny. Like that's objectively funny.
Yes.
But audiences will be like tense. And the line I had to write is like, I didn't get aborted. Like, it's okay. Like,
it's like you have to remind them, like, I'm in front of you. Yeah. You're looking at me. I'm breathing. It's okay.
And it's the same thing. I have to be like, if it really bothers you, go vote. Like, this is literally not the place to be bothered by it.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, you can not be laughing, because I had a lady stand up in Arizona and she was like, some people can't get abortions. I'm like, you're eating microwave nachos right now, lady. What do you mean? Like, this is not the place.
Yeah. Like, and also if some people, like, whatever your stance on that is, then take it to the polls. Like, fucking, what do you want me to do about it? I got 20 minutes left on this stage. What do you think I'm going to make a difference?
When I have tea with Biden on Saturday, I'll chat with him about it real quick.
When I visit him at the nursing home, I'll make sure to.
I don't know how we got on that subject. But.
What do you, when you, because I noticed towards the end, or maybe it was like maybe 70% of the way through your special, when you started doing fat jokes. Yeah. And you said, you were like, everyone always gets tense at this part. How do you deal with that? Like when you're on stage and whether it's fat jokes, domestic, whatever it is, a touchy subject, how do you deal with the audience tensing up and getting through it?
I don't tense up. You can't be uncomfortable because you made other people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like it would be silly for me to be like, I'm going to try this domestic violence riff and be like, nobody's going to get uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to expect.
People are going to be uncomfortable, you know, and I think anything, whether it's a touchy subject or you're just bombing, I think the biggest mistake comics make is they don't be present. They're not present in the moment.
That's a good point.
Because we've all sat in the back of a room and watched a comic do their same 10 minutes and eat dick with the same cadence,
robot,
the same words, no different tags. Be present in the moment. It's because we've seen comics say, "Oh, you guys hate me," and that gets a huge laugh because people are like, "Do they know we're not vibing?"
Yeah. As soon as you address it, the audience
100%.
loosens up a little bit.
And it's the same thing. You know, that's what I did last night when I did the domestic violence thing. I'm like, I know I bummed you out, but you know, imagine how I felt. You know, like, and just like kind of poked at it a little bit to kind of get them to understand. Like you're not going to make me feel uncomfortable about my experience, but I will make jokes about it, and it's going to be okay, and I'm here for you.
That's a really good point because I only recently, within like the last year, have started to do jokes about my body and my experience. And I even saying the word eating disorder on stage has been difficult for me because I'm so afraid of like what people will think. Not like thinking of what I look like, but more like, are they gonna think that I'm up here like trauma dumping? Yeah. And then they're gonna greet me on the way out and they're gonna be like, "Are you okay?" You know, because that's worse. When you ask a comedian like, "Are you okay?" That just tell me I'm not funny. You know what I mean?
I don't want to hear any of that. Actually, I only want to hear if you think I'm funny. Like that's the only. I don't need the other feedback. I'm not interested. I don't care. It's the only reason I still read my comments because I'm like every other one is somebody being like, "This is the funniest comedian ever." I mean, it's like you're fat and should die. Funniest comedian ever.
And I want to fuck you. I'd marry.
And so it's like you still get the positive shit, but
I think it's very difficult to want to talk about those things and maybe not know how. That's kind of where I'm at. But also to the point of you talking about domestic violence because you experienced it, that is the difference between a good, a well-crafted joke about domestic violence as someone that experienced it versus someone like Matt Rife starting out his special making a joke about domestic violence about a waitress.
Yes.
Like, and I think a lot of people get that confused where they're like, "Oh, you can't talk about anything anymore." And it's like, actually you can talk about it, but it number one has to be funny.
Yes.
And number two has to be something that like you have a connection to, because if you don't, then you are kind of just like punching down.
Well, and we've all seen comics. I'm about to name 80 names. Just kidding. No. We've all seen comics who are doing a completely fabricated story.
Yes, and it's so obvious.
We embellish truths. We don't create fabrications.
Right.
And I think that's the crazy part. Like, yeah, there's like fictitious things in my stories. I make them, but they're all based in some portion of truth.
Right.
So the idea that a man who's never experienced domestic violence or been a part of it is making that joke is just saying you're just trying to get a laugh off something you know is controversial.
Right.
Versus saying this is something crazy and common and scary that I went through, but we can laugh about it together.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's the same way when I tell the joke about like, people don't get upset when I tell the joke about me running myself over with my own car. Like,
oh my God.
They don't, it's same. I'm getting hurt. Like, it's violence against me. It's just it's domestic violence, eating disorder, all these things, they just make people uncomfortable. Yep. And that's okay. You're allowed to be uncomfortable. This idea that we're not supposed to be uncomfortable is wrong. And you can be uncomfortable. And as an audience member, if you think our job is to make you comfortable, that's incorrect.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's incorrect.
Never in the history of ever has someone started comedy and their first lesson as an open mic is, hey, just make sure you make the audience really comfortable. Because open mic audiences are the most uncomfortable of any comedy audience because they're watching like 30 newcomers or anyone for that matter go on stage and say something for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And it's going to be weird.
Yeah.
I feel like I've done a lot of interviewing. I want to hand it over to my producer Anissa. Do you have any questions for Miss Jozalyn? Do you have anything
gosh.
You put her on the spot.
I know. I should have just.
Gosh.
I'm such an open book. There's no questions.
Well,
I know,
I definitely want to hear about like kind of what we talked about at the beginning, but also what you had mentioned to me over DMs is your recovery journey.
Yeah. I have one of the craziest experiences with having an eating disorder because my best friend and I had the exact same eating disorder at the exact same time.
Oh, wow.
And so we were almost like...
Were you like engaging in behaviors together?
Less engaging and more recapping.
Oh, okay.
It was like a little bit of, I think for both of us, it was a valve release. It was a way for us to talk about the things we were doing in secret without, just a casual being like, yeah, I purged again. Or, I bought laxatives yesterday. Just that was enough for us to like feel a little bit better.
Yeah, because someone else is doing it. It's almost like making it normal.
It felt normal.
Yeah.
And we both had been on a yo-yo dieting journey our whole lives. We used to like call each other and talk about our Weight Watchers shit. And bulimia started for me in junior high. I probably started in elementary school, but my mom's first husband was pretty sick in the head. And he would like take food out from, like, let's say I had sat down with a bowl of ramen. He would pull the bowl of ramen and it would like splash, and he would like put a bowl of peas in front of me.
What?
And he'd be like, that's what you need to be eating. But he'd never do it when my mom's around, and he would only do it when we were alone. And he would like take me to the gym and make me run on the treadmill, and he'd like go in the corner and work out. And I'm like 11 and 12 at the time.
Yeah.
And it's being a chubby 11, 12-year-old is already damaging as a girl in our school system. So to go home to somebody, like I was being shamed at school and then going home. The front of all my binders had notebook papers where there was all these numbers that people wouldn't be able to discern if they didn't know me, but it was me counting the calories I was eating every day.
Wow.
And it escalated my whole life. It got worse and worse. Purging started. One day I just had eaten too much, and I was in the bathroom, and I was just in a shame spiral, and I had to do something about it. And then you become addicted to the purge. You become addicted to the feeling of feeling clean and feeling like you fixed it.
Feeling clean. Yeah. That is that's a really interesting, way to put it, because that's something I'm working on in recovery, is understanding like what that feeling actually is and what your eating disorder is interpreting it as.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's just an anxiety response. It's a sense of control. It's, I feel so out of control. My body doesn't look the way I want it to look. I ate out of control. Well, I can get control back right now if I purge.
Yeah.
And comedy, I mean, I hadn't purged, I would say, in 4 years when I started comedy. And
that's great.
I relapsed like 3 years into comedy.
Oh, wow.
And that lasted for about 2 years. I got it under control again when I met my husband, but it also helps to be loved by someone.
Yeah.
When you're loved by someone who doesn't see you the way that any other human has loved you before, that's the way my husband is. And it kind of gave me the space to learn to love myself enough to like fully let go of that pattern. And the reality of knowing the people in my life that have died from their bulimia complications. Wow. And I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Did you, in terms of like doing recovery, did you go to a center? Did you do any type of program?
I did talk therapy.
Okay.
I did talk therapy, and I 2 times in my life I had to do talk therapy twice a week. And then you do go from twice a week to once a week.
When you say talk therapy, do you just mean like a
60
therapist?
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk therapy versus like going to a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
Okay. Gotcha.
My talk therapist worked under a psychiatrist, so I still got meds and stuff, but she was more about like, I would turn my food journal into her. And, my view of food and eating was so broken by, my last relapse, which I was 2020 or 2021. It was so broken that when I turned my food journal into my therapist after my first appointment, telling her I had an issue with binge eating, she goes, there's literally not a 0 binges in this journal. I had interpreted the amount of food I had eaten as a binge had gotten so small that it was just a normal amount of food. And I just didn't have a concept for what a normal amount of food was. And so I just have recoveries forever. I'm going to be in recovery forever.
It is forever. That's something that is hard to wrap your brain around when you first start it. You're like, oh, fuck. This is the rest of my life.
My therapist said something that hit me really hard, and I always tell people this advice. There's never going to be a moment in your life when you lean back and you put your arm around the couch and you say, I did it.
Oh God.
There's never going to be that moment.
That makes me so sad, but it also like
it's freeing.
It is kind of freeing because it's like knowing that there's always going to be maybe something that you not necessarily struggle with, but that you just have to like work through, but also being able to look back and be like, yeah, but look at how much better it is.
Exactly. I'm much better at handling my eating disorder triggers now than ever before. You know, I know when to give in to the urge to eat something. I know when to give in to the urge to, you know, what I don't do is I don't give in to the urge to compensate. So if I eat something I didn't think I should have eaten, I won't.
You don't bargain.
I don't bargain. I won't over exercise. I won't do things like that. It is what it is. And that's like the big thing for me but I'm never not going to be in recovery. I come from a family of addicts and it is an addict's brain when you have an eating disorder, which I recently learned. And I think a lot of people maybe don't understand about eating disorders. The assumption is like either you eat too little and you're sick or you eat too much and you're sick, you know? And it's actually like, no, a lot of us have black and white thinking where it's either like, I am all in, I am doing this eating disorder, I am in it, and the rest of your life is that way. Or you're like, nope, I'm on the wagon, I'm okay, I'm working to do whatever I can. Like, it's such a huge shift. Well, and it's also even more complicated for women, I think. We do not have a ton of science in medicine for women. They didn't do studies with the BMI is literally built off white males' bodies. So they just don't have female data. And one of the things we're learning now, especially like if you pay attention to like that, the self-help sphere and like the science and the neurology part, is that it's, what did you say? It just reminded me something. Sorry, my ADHD took me off track.
Oh, about like recovery it being forever.
So it's more complicated. Sorry, that's all it takes.
I love that.
For us, it's more complicated because we have hormonal phases throughout the month, and
it's a 28-day cycle.
Yes.
It's not 24 hours like it is for men.
Yes, and there's a whole few days where we feel like the baddest bitch on the planet.
Yep.
And you try to balance an eating disorder with your freaking ovulation phase, and then you go into your luteal phase, and you're a whole different person, and you have to battle. And it's easy to go, oh, well, I'm feeling unconfident because I had Cinnabon for breakfast.
Yeah.
It's easy to make those leaps and connections.
Right.
And when you have an addict's brain, that's what it is. This equals that, this equals that. And I have OCD, so it was even easier for me. It all became a ritual. It all became part of the thing. I'm not going to have a good set if I don't purge. I'm not going to have a good week if I don't do this.
Yeah. It's there's so many pieces of, the only word I can think of is bargaining, where it's like, if I do this, this will happen.
Yes.
And that's like your whole existence in the eating disorder is thinking like, there is only one way to be, and I have to be that way, or else the world will explode, or whatever the thought it is. But I want to know, like, so you're in recovery, or you're, you know, obviously recovery is life and whatnot.
Yeah.
But you're now on this journey to losing weight. So how do you balance that? How do you make sure that you still remain outside of your triggers?
Maybe everyone won't feel the same way as me, and maybe it doesn't work that way for everyone, but I am quite a goal-oriented person at the end of the day. Most people with an eating disorder are.
Yeah. We're pretty fucking motivated.
Unfortunately.
We're pretty motivated.
We'll do some wild shit.
Yeah.
But because I'm goal-oriented, it changed the way because I knew I had to do something different. I knew I didn't want a fad diet. So I know the only thing that's not a fad diet is tracking your macros.
Oh yeah, because it's like tracking exchanges, which is what
all you're doing.
Yeah,
is you're making sure you're getting enough. Because my coach, she literally pushes nutrient-dense food, whole foods, as much as possible, and eat enough. And once I started working out and you start putting the work in, I started to, instead of lean into the way things felt, I lent into the data. So I took measurements. I took pictures of myself. I weighed myself every day, which seems counterintuitive.
Oh, wow.
That seems counterintuitive. Yeah. But what it has done is it started to take the emotional weight of weighing myself out. Because when I can see how much it fluctuates and how it fluctuates every single day.
And you might feel different than what your weight is telling you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'll wake up and I'll feel slimmer than I've ever felt, and I'll have gained 3 pounds, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of about fully, for me, this has been the most powerful part of my recovery process because it's the first time I've treated these things, these triggers, as not precious. And they can be precious for some people if you're in that part of your recovery. It's very easy. It's an easy slope to slip down. I have to drive in the car sometimes and just drive around and be like, we don't need to go binge. We don't need to do that. We don't need to. And you have to talk yourself down off that ledge. But it's easier and easier for me because I know, well, it's not about the food anymore. Like, yeah, I want to have something yummy, but also I really want to get 70 grams of protein in because I really did a really good workout today. And I want to be able to, when I sleep tonight, get the muscle gain from the workout, because if you don't eat enough, and you
your
don't
muscles
eat the right
can't grow.
things, your muscles can't grow. So it's what has changed it for me is that I set a goal and I allowed that to be the thing. And I gain a lot of personal confidence and value out of the attention I get from the transformation photos and all of that. Sure. But in reality, if I didn't lose another pound, I would still show up for every workout.
Yeah.
My life is different now. I look at food differently. I look at life differently. I feel differently. And there's a lot of data now about women in weightlifting and how good it is for us. And I fully drink the fitness Kool-Aid. I am buy a Gymshark top. Let's go.
I would love to get to that point, because I'm at the point where like I actually went through a weightlifting phase, but it was coupled with a very harsh restriction phase. And I had lost a ton of weight, but I also lost like a ton of bone density. And I was lifting and I was like eating protein, but I still wasn't eating enough.
There's no way you were getting like 180 grams.
Exactly. And so right now I'm just like walking and riding my bike. Like that's all I can do. But I want to get to the point where I'm like able to separate it enough where I'm like, no, I'm doing this for my body. I'm not doing this so I can look a certain way. Yeah. Because at least for me, that's what I gotta think of.
Also, this is weird, but if you're gonna watch porn with women that look like you in it.
Ooh, that's a great point. That's a really great point.
It's things like that. And follow women on Instagram with big shoulders.
Yeah.
And big, I know that's a weird.
Specifically big shoulders.
Well, so here's the thing is I've always kind of had a naturally strong upper body. And before when I weightlifted, I had a lot of self-consciousness about how quickly I got bulky. But this time around, I'm fully loving it.
Yeah.
I'm fully into it. And I think it's because I went on this journey since the pandemic and since my last relapse where I'm like, I'm going to start following women who look like me.
Yeah.
I'm going to start following women who look like how I want to look like, but not in the unhealthy way.
Right.
In the way that when I look at them and I'm like, damn, that's a strong woman. Damn, that's a cool woman. I don't know if you know that Alona girl. She's a rugby player that's huge on social media, but her shoulders are jacked. Yeah. And she's constantly wearing crop tops and tube tops and being like, put your shoulders out, girls.
Yeah, fuck it. Yes. I follow a lot of I guess they would consider themselves like curve models or like or plus size or whatever. And like every time they post a story and it's just it's just like their stomach, I'm like, oh, okay, it's okay. Things are gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's very validating to have that happen, because a lot of those curvier models for a long time on Instagram, they only showed us the unrealistic version, which was flat stomach, perfect ass, no cellulite.
You're plus size, but somehow you're like in this perfect shape that looks photoshopped. Yeah. And it's like the small amount of people that do look like that, awesome. But what about the rest of us who don't look like a perfect hourglass with no cellulite?
And good for them, but that doesn't provide them any more value in society. Right. Sorry if you got a body yaddy out there and you were like, I'm killing it. You got to do more. Like that's
newsflash. We all got bodies.
Yeah. And also we've never looked at a man with a great body and been like, oh, that's enough. Like we look at Jason Momoa and we're like, he's such a shitty actor. Like we're not even satisfied.
Yeah. I look at like really ripped dudes and I'm like, yeah, but like, do you own a headboard? You know what I mean? Like, do you have a butter dish? Like what do you have? Like,
well, and in my opinion, most like ripped dudes, I look at them and I just think of what their like stuff smells like, because I think of gym smells.
Oh my God. Or like if they have back knee from all that fucking pre-workout and protein.
Oh
yeah,
my
dude,
God.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I feel like we solved all the problems of the world. What do you think?
And if anyone needs advice, I am not available. So DM someone else.
Well, I do. So our ending segment that I told you about, I'm really excited because you're the first person to do this, is that we end every episode with an affirmation. And I don't know about you, but it took me a while to like affirmations. I used to feel like they were corny and cheesy, and I was like, oh, I don't believe this. So I have this board that Anissa is going to bring to us. Yes, let's show the camera. Let's show this. I had to cut up like a bunch of those toxic magazines.
I love it.
To cut out all the, it says my body, my affirmations.
I love it.
And I just want you to write down your favorite affirmation and then go ahead and sign it.
Okay.
I think affirmations are really fun because there's something that can get you through the day, even if you don't believe it.
Oh, 100%.
And I used to not believe them. Like I still, even to this day, I'll look in the mirror and I'll be like, you're beautiful, you matter, you're worth it.
But
and
the
then
data tells us that, they've done studies and it makes a difference.
yeah, your brain is listening. Even if you in the moment are like, I hate this, your brain is like, oh wow, good job.
Yeah, we are beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I say affirmations before I go on stage.
Oh, you do?
Every time.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I should probably do that.
I mean, I do it because I'm like very insecure as a comic.
Oh.
So I need to get myself in the headspace of like, which is like my affirmation here.
Oh yeah, go ahead and
like,
read it to us.
I am deserving and talented.
Oh, I love that.
And that's one of the ones that I say to myself a lot of the times to remind myself that it's okay to think I'm funny. It's okay to think I'm deserving of stage time.
It is more than okay. It makes you funnier. It makes you a better performer to be confident. And to use the word deserving is I feel like a very female thing, is so many of us don't feel like
we feel
deserving.
like we have to be a mom and a wife and a CEO before we can
and
deserve.
hot and have a tight puss
and
and
flat belly,
like everything.
Have no boobs but also big boobs but also perky boobs but also natural boobs.
Yep. Have nice nails but don't wear too many fake nails because then it's ugly.
Have perfect skin but I don't want your foundation on everything. It's
I could keep going.
Same. There's
don't have split ends. don't have straight
short
eyelashes.
hair, but don't have too long of hair.
Yeah.
Or don't have too short of hair.
Yeah. You gotta have nice kneecaps. Yeah. I don't know. It's just everything. Oh my gosh. Well, go ahead and we'll show the camera your little affirmation. Yay! It's going to be all filled up one day, but yours will always be the first.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me and talking about this. This stuff means a lot to me and it's really important. And I was joking. Genuinely, if you ever struggle and you need resources, I always have resources in my link tree for mental health, whether it's suicide awareness or abortion or, because sometimes you need to have an abortion on your mental health day. That's not what I meant. But.
Sometimes you need to know the number. Sometimes your friend needs the number.
Yeah, so there's numbers there in my link tree usually, but yeah, there's always somebody out there who's experienced what you've experienced, so never feel alone. Yeah. I thank you for being here. I'm like really happy as soon as you're back in October, I'm gonna have you back on.
I would love that.
Where can everyone find you? I'm at Jozalyn Sharp on almost everything. The only thing I'm not at Jozalyn Sharp on is my Facebook fan page is at comedian Jozalyn Sharp, and my TikTok is at Wizard of Jaws.
Wizard of Jaws. That's funny. I like that.
So there's another much more famous comedian whose TikTok is Wizard of Ha, and I'm like, well, that's not even a pun.
Okay, Wizard of Ha.
Mine's my
Interesting.
name.
Yeah, Wizard of Jaws. You also have really cool links on your website. Like you have a link to your trainer.
Yeah, I like to. She does online programs and stuff, and I also sell protein and stuff through a protein company I'm affiliated with.
Okay, very cool.
Just because I'm like.
An influencer?
And a little bit of an influencer. I love to influence people. I'm very, very on the internet. So come find me. I post mostly on Instagram. Instagram's my love.
Cool.
Always has been.
Yeah, same. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll have another episode soon. And, just remember, stay soft and fuck the patriarchy. Bye.
Woo!
Thank you so much for listening to My Body, My Jokes. Please be advised that the information provided in this podcast is for general discussion purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. Always, always, always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare professional with any concerns you might have regarding the topics discussed in today's episode. Also, if you or someone you know is struggling with an eating disorder, please call the National Eating Disorders Association helpline at 1-800-931-2237. Bye.